What is up, everybody? This is DJ Friendzone, and today I want to show you guys how to set up an RTA mic and like ring out your room or RTA room with pink noise on the Mackie DL series of mixers. So this includes the DL1608, the DL16S, the DL32S, the DL32R, and there's probably a couple that I'm missing. And I wanted to make this video because I kind of figured this out, and I don't think RTA is super, like doing it this way is super obvious. It's definitely not as obvious as like a drive rack where you just plug in the RTA mic to the special input and then you hit the RTA button and it kind of does it. Here you kind of have to set things up. So I'll show you the way I set it up. Hope you enjoy. Thanks. So here I'm presented with the Mackie DL overview page, and I've zeroed out all the channels so you can kind of see kind of what I'm going to be working with. But of course, whenever I do this, I usually save this as a preset so I can just recall it and then go to RTA straight away. So the things you're going to need in order to RTA are going to be, of course, a Mackie DL series mixer, and then you're going to need an XLR cable, which I have here, and some form of RTA mic. And the one I'm going to be using is the Beyerdynamic MM1. It's one of the ones that Mackie recommends for RTA. They recommend two, either this, the Beyerdynamic MM1 or the Audix TM1. And I ended up buying the MM1 just because it was a little bit cheaper and it had a bunch of really good reviews. So the first thing we want to do is zero out any RTA we've done in the past. So I'm just going to reset the equalizer on the master. And now we want to set things up so that we have both an oscillator and an RTA mic in. So I like using channel 8 for my RTA mic. So I'm going to tap it and I'm going to give it a name, TA mic. Give it an icon and give it a color. And most RTA mics are condenser microphones, which means they're going to need phantom power. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to switch on the 48 volt phantom power. Now on channel 9 is what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up channel 9 to be the pink noise that we're going to send through the system. So I'm going to tap on channel 9. I'm going to call this, oscillator, and I'm going to give it, let's say this one, and the color I'm just going to make it pink because we're going to be sending pink noise through the system. But first is what I need to do is route the oscillator to channel 9. So I'm going to go to the channel routing page, and under input A, you see by default it's going to look like this, where mic preamp 9 is routed to channel 9, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to route the oscillator to channel 9. So I'm going to do that by tapping oscillator to channel 9. So that means it's going to send the pink noise through channel 9. So now we have the ability to control the oscillator volume with the channel 9 fader. But we haven't turned the oscillator on yet, so go back to routing. I'm going to hit oscillator, and let me make sure this thing is all zeroed out, as it should be, and turn it on. So now, if we go back to the main page, we can see that it's sending pink noise, but we're not getting anything out. But if I turn up the fader, you can hear the pink noise coming out of the system. Now the reason we have to do it this way is because when we're recording from the RTA mic, we have to make adjustments with the graphic equalizer. But the problem is we can't make adjustments to the channel equalizer because there's no parametric EQ for the master. There's only a graphic EQ. So in order to do this, this is why I set up an auxiliary. So an auxiliary 6 is what I'm going to do is, it doesn't really matter what your volume is, but I'm actually going to use this to do RTA. So all the adjustments that I want to make are going to be on auxiliary 6, and auxiliary 6 isn't routed to anything. So the reason I'm using it this way is that way I can make adjustments to the equalizer here, and then I'll save this preset and load it on the master, because if I was to send the RTA mic to the master, I would be able to adjust it, but it would be also sending out the pink noise, which is going to be equal spectrum, like, you know, flat. So here I am sitting in the middle of the dance floor, and you can see I have my JBL SRX series here. And it's generally a good idea not to do this on the ground. Being on the ground could be a good idea, but the problem is you also need to think about the reflections that are coming off the ground. So with this MM1, you want to hold it vertically, and I didn't bring a mic stand with me, but I'm fine just holding it. and I'll make the adjustments with this in a little bit. So to do the RTA is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up on the oscillator volume on the main. So I'm looking at the main mix here. I'm gonna start adding pink noise to the system. And you wanna get it to about a level that you'd be expecting to have your performance at. So I'll probably turn it up a little bit more, but of course, while I'm doing this, I can't talk. So then is what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to auxiliary 6, which is gonna be my RTA mic. And notice how my oscillator is turned down all the way. Anything that I pick up on this measurement microphone is then going to be sent to the auxiliary 6, and from there I can RTA it from here. And once I'm happy with it, and the idea here is to get a very flat frequency spectrum and kind of find out any of the resonances in the room and the room modes. From there, we can save that preset, recall it to the master when we turn the pink noise off. So let's go ahead and do that. And now I'm gonna bring the pink noise in and try to even this out. And that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm leaving the bass alone a little bit. I like kind of having a little bit of an extra bass boost when I'm doing certain DJ events. So we'll see, and that's something I can adjust from the subs, but the main thing I'm looking at is the high end. And once you're happy with this, the thing you want to do is go into presets and tap store preset, and I'm going to give this a name. I'm just going to call this RTA 1. And now that that's saved, is what I can do is go to my main mix, go to the graphic equalizer here, and recall that preset. And now my room has been RTA'd. So what I'm gonna do now is play some music through here and A/B it, and you can tell the difference. You may not be able to hear the difference from the phone because you're getting reflections off the floor and the mic of the phone is dealing with it, but I can pretty much guarantee that this is gonna sound like 10 times better like this. So let's go ahead and do it. So this is with the RTA on, or the equal. So that was A being on and off. And in my opinion, you can really tell the difference. It really adds a sparkle to the sound. And yeah, to me, it sounds a lot better this way.